right, so I think probably a lot of our readers do know a little bit about you, but um, tell us a little bit about your life before you moved to Colorado.
So before I moved to Colorado, I was high school. I moved right after high school. Played high school baseball my pretty much all the way up until my senior year. Um, did a lot of skiing, a lot of whitewater kayaking. Just tried to stay active and outdoors as much as I could.
You um, came out in high school uh, in part because of a boy. Could you tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
yeah, yeah. So it was like the first guy that I had met in my town that I thought was relationship material, I guess, and tried to move in on it. And he was like, "I don't talk to closeted guys, and I don't want the drama." And I was like, "Well, okay." So like 2 weeks later, I was like, "Hey, you know what? Now's as good a time as any. Let's just do it." So
So you had some fallout with that, and it did impact your relationship with both your team and your dad for a while. Um,
hmm
how long did it take your dad to come around?
it took a month or two. At first, it was really hard. We went to counseling together, and everything kind of worked itself out after that. He started to understand. He actually now he's probably one of my biggest supporters. But um, even in high school, I mean, he wasn't. It was only a month of really hard on top of me. Like that's not okay. And then he eventually understood.
Do you know what it was that helped him get over that?
Yeah, we for some people it just takes a click, and I think it was the same thing for him. The counselor, his biggest thing was, if he's never done anything with a girl, how come he knows he doesn't like it? And the counselor, kind of countered that with, well, Ken, have you ever done anything with a guy? How come you know you don't like it? And it ever since then he's like, all right, we're done. I get it. So
So things with your team didn't go so well.
no, they didn't. Actually, my best friend kind of alienated me, um, and the rest of my teammates took a step back. It was pretty rough, but I don't regret it. I mean, everything happens for a reason. So
Were you able to finish high school ball, or did you leave the team?
yeah, my senior year I ended up quitting. I'd gotten a lot of playing time sophomore, junior year, and my senior year I wasn't getting any, and that was kind of my telltale of all right, there's something behind this. And then of course it got affirmed a couple days later after a practice. One of my teammates came to me and told me what was said, and kind of bothered me.
So at some point, then you decided that you would try your hand at porn. How did you work your way around to that?
It was kind of a roundabout way. I got recruited, supposedly recruited. I don't, who knows if he was affiliated with the company or not. But long story short, I ended up putting in an application, and 2 days later, I got a call back, or 2 weeks later, I apologize. I got a call back, and they were like, "Yeah, let's fly you out." Told them give me a couple weeks because I was already planning on moving to Denver. I could kind of hide it from everybody else. So as soon as I got there, I said, "Yeah, I'm good," and flew out there like heck a week after I moved in. So
And how long were you with them before you became an exclusive?
um, I shot 4 scenes before I became exclusive my first time around. It was after my second trip out, which my first trip out was in like August. My second trip wasn't until like November or December. So it was kind of spaced out a little bit. And then after that trip, I signed.
And how does that work when you're exclusive with a porn company? Do you have like a salary or something like that, or
You have a guarantee on how many scenes you're going to get. You have a guarantee on what rate you're going to get per scene. And it's for them, it was a 6 month term. And
okay?
then afterwards, you had the option to renew or whatever. So I was guaranteed a certain rate for a certain amount of scenes through 6 months. Um, it was, they had to shoot me, and I had to be committed to just them. I couldn't go to another studio and shoot at the same time. So
Okay. And when you weren't exclusive with them, did you ever do any scenes with anybody else besides Helix?
I didn't. The only things I ever did were homemade stuff like Chatterbait and OnlyFans, but um, being exclusive, I didn't. I didn't do anything with any other studio. That was the only professional studio that I worked with.
What sort of led you to decide that it was time to call it quits?
I got in a serious relationship with somebody who understood, the business. He understood that it was there before he was, kind of thing. Never really asked me to stop, but I could just kind of tell the look of dejection on his face whenever he'd have to drop me off to the airport to fly out, and I could tell it was taking a toll. So I kind of, after my last contract was up, was like, I'm going to reevaluate, and I did for a solid 5 or 6 months. Things were going really good with me and him. Actually, a lot better. We were getting very serious. So I decided that that was more important.
And are you still together?
We're not anymore, no. As of about a year ago.
Did you consider going back after that, or?
No, I couldn't because of my job. Um,
Mhm.
it, I've had thoughts about it, but I kind of pushed them out of my head.
Do you still do any amateur?
Yeah, I've still got an OnlyFans. I haven't updated it in a minute. Sorry for that, but um, eventually, yeah, I'll put some more content up there.
Did your family ever find out about what you did?
Yeah, they found out. I had a ex who was pretty vindictive, um, and as soon as he found out, he told my family. But it kind of took my dad the same mindset of I just have to process this, realize that it's his thing. He's an adult now, and he got around to it. Um, we just kind of all didn't talk about it as a family. It was just one of those understood
Right.
things. Yeah.
Sure. He sounds pretty understanding overall. I mean, I think that all
Yeah, I
things
mean, he's come
considered.
a long way.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, thinking back to your time at Helix, who were some of your favorite people to work with?
Some of my favorite people, I there were never really any favorites. I really enjoyed working with Tyler Hill and um, Elliot Gray. Those were two fun scenes, but I never. It was always a job, so I just kind of
Yeah.
locked in and went to work.
When you got out, did you come straight back to Tennessee, or did you stay in Colorado for a while?
Yeah, well, I was still doing it when I moved back from Colorado to Tennessee, and the reason I did that, I didn't have a choice with the circumstance that I had, um, so I came back home. But I continued shooting once I got back home, and it was probably, I'd say, a year and a half or so after I moved back home before I stopped. So
Gotcha. When you got back here, did you start taking classes at college, or did you go straight to work?
I did some college. I kind of realized school wasn't really for me.
Yeah,
I hated high school, so I eventually got out, went into sales. That's what my dad does, and kind of found a niche. I found out I was pretty decent at it, so I could make a good living and rolled with that.
yeah, no, it makes sense. I understand though that you still are a fan of college ball and UT.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Giant Tennessee fan. Go Vols.
So tell me a little bit about your podcast. I don't know much
Yeah,
about that.
absolutely. So it's called Balls and Brews. It's me and my best friend Chauncey. We drink a little bit, crack open a few beers. We sit here, we debate sports, talk about hot topics in sports, just and banter a little bit. Whatever comes to our mind. It's basically our daily conversations. We just started recording it 30, 45 minutes. So
How long have you been doing that?
not long. It's been since about the beginning of this year, and we've missed a few weeks with everything that's going on. He had the flu and all
Right.
the COVID-19 mess that's going on right now. So we're trying to play catch up.
Gotcha. Um, so does that cover all sports, or is it just baseball?
Oh, it's everything. Yeah, football, baseball, basketball, golf. If we get to it, NASCAR. I mean, if there's a sport, MLS. I try to hit the Premier League when I can. We cover it all.
Who are some of your favorites?
Well, I'm a diehard Braves fan, baseball wise. I'm a diehard Tennessee fan. Anything college. Diehard Steelers fan. Um, and I'm a Cavs fan. I stayed loyal to Cleveland as a basketball fan before LeBron left and after he left. And I'm a Manchester United fan, soccer wise. That's probably my squad. Those are kind of everything that I get alerts for on my phone, at least.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, where do you see that going? Is it something you just want to keep doing as a hobby, or is it something that you want to see expand?
If it expanded, that would be fantastic. But it's definitely just me and him having a good time and airing our conversations out. We really don't. We appreciate the listens, but we don't kind of follow it. We don't do it for the listens. We kind of do it just to
Right.
have a good time with each other. But if we grew, absolutely. Sports journalism was what I was going to school for before I stopped, and that's kind of that would be the ideal location to land in for sure.
So, what's it like to be back in Tennessee, just living the normal life, as it were?
You know, it's a good place to be. Knoxville's it's the smallest big city in America, I like to call it, because everybody kind of knows everybody, but there's a ton of things to do. Obviously not right now with everything shut down, but
Right.
it it can get kind of redundant at times, but it's never boring. It's a good place to raise a family.